What's up guys, Sean Nalawani, SeanNal.com, RealScienceAthletics.com, and in this video today, I want to challenge the commonly held idea that fat loss is a quote-unquote slow and gradual process, and just kind of offer a different perspective here that I think you might find helpful. Before I get started with the video guys, if you're new to the channel here and you do find this content helpful, then don't forget to hit the subscribe button below to stay up to date on future videos, and also make sure to follow me over on Instagram as well, where I post daily tips, training clips, meals, and other updates that you'll definitely find helpful. It's at Sean_Nalawani. That's where you'll find me when I'm not here on YouTube. So, is fat loss really a quote-unquote slow process? I've referred to it that way in the past myself. I get that it's a matter of perspective, but lately my thought on it is that it isn't that fat loss happens slowly, it's just that people have kind of a skewed idea as to what realistically constitutes a fast or slow process. Now, fast and slow are subjective terms, and so there technically isn't one right or wrong answer here. But I would say that if you really break it all down and you put the fat burning process into context within your overall life as a whole, then with the right program in place, you actually can lose body fat and improve your overall physique relatively quickly. Fat loss isn't necessarily a slow process. Most people are just too impatient and they expect too much too quickly. Now, weekly fat loss rates will vary depending on the person. It depends how much body fat you're carrying right now and how large of a calorie deficit you're comfortable using. But assuming you have a proper plan in place and you're staying reasonably consistent with it, most people in most situations should be able to drop at least 1 pound per week on average, up to about 2 pounds. Some people who are significantly overweight can often lose fat even faster than that, at least in the initial stages of their program. But let's go with somewhere between 1 to 2 pounds per week for the average person who's looking to lean down and lose their excess fat. That's not a slow rate of progress. That's actually a pretty significant change over a relatively short period of time. That means in 1 month, you can lose somewhere between 4 to 8 pounds. In 2 months, 8 to 16 pounds. In 3 months, 12 to 24 pounds. In my view, any process where you can see results that significant in just 3 months should not be viewed as a slow process, because 3 months is not a long time in the overall picture. And for a lot of people, depending on how much fat they're carrying and how lean they're trying to get, that might be all they need in order to reach their fat loss goal. You know, if you can go from A to B with a particular goal in 3 months, then I really don't think there's anything to complain about there from a time perspective. Now, if you're carrying more fat or you're trying to get leaner, then yeah, maybe 3 months isn't enough. Maybe you need 6 months. Even still, when you consider how long it took you to gradually put that excess weight on, and you consider how quickly 1 month goes by, and then you fit that into the context of your life as a whole, I mean, if you live an average lifespan of say 80 years, 6 months represents less than 0.5% of your entire life. That's a pretty small fraction. And even if you don't necessarily reach your ultimate goal after 6 months, the bottom line is that you'll still have made very significant progress by that time. There will probably be ups and downs along the way. No one's perfectly consistent with their program, and so maybe there are some setbacks that pop up and that slow you down here and there. But if you average, say, 1.5 pounds, that's still 36 pounds you'll have dropped by that point, which will make a huge difference to how you look and feel. Even at 1 pound per week, so 24 pounds after 6 months, that's still very good progress. Not to mention that fat loss isn't the only benefit that you'll be seeing along the way. You'll likely also gain some muscle if you're doing things right. You'll be getting physically stronger, your health will improve, your cardiovascular fitness will improve, your mood, your confidence. There's a whole package of benefits that you'll be getting all throughout that process within a relatively short period. And if 6 months isn't long enough to get you all the way to point B, you know, maybe you're significantly overweight and you need to drop quite a bit of fat. Okay, so maybe it takes a year. Even 1 year is not a long time in the grand scheme to get from point A to point B with a significant goal, such as transforming your entire body and your lifestyle and your mindset. There are other life goals people work on that take a lot longer than that. Someone could work for 3 or 5 or 10 years plus trying to create a successful business, for example, and still never succeed at it. And that's the other thing when it comes to fitness, which is that the end result is essentially a built-in guarantee as long as you're on the right program and you stick with it. Okay, it's not the same as some other goals like starting a business where you can literally work your ass off for years on end with no guarantee that your efforts are even going to pay off. Whereas with a proper training and nutrition strategy in place, It's just a matter of following the steps and being consistent, and you will achieve the results. A lot of other areas in life are much more sort of up in the air, where there's no set timeline for when you're going to see the results you're after, or any guarantee that you'll even get that final result at all. So not only is fat loss a relatively fast process in the overall scheme, but you also have the added benefit of knowing up front that you basically can't fail as long as you put in the effort and you stay consistent. So bottom line here, rather than thinking of fat loss as this slow, arduous process, instead try changing your perspective a bit on what it actually means for something to be slow or fast in the first place. I'm not encouraging you to rush things. Again, 1 to 2 pounds per week on average is probably what you should expect. And if you're going much faster than that, then it probably isn't going to be sustainable, and you're likely going to eventually burn out and have to slow down. But if you have it in your mind that 3 months or 6 months or even 1 year is this massive time frame that you're gonna have to slowly grind through in order to reach your goals, you'll be a lot more likely to feel demotivated or maybe never even get started at all. Whereas on the other hand, if you really put things into context, consider how fast 1 week or 1 month goes by, weigh that off against your life as a whole. Remember that there are other life goals that take a lot longer than that, and keep in mind that your results are a built-in guarantee with virtually no chance of failure if you just implement the proper program. Then it becomes a lot more manageable in your mind, and you'll be a lot more likely to actually stick with it all the way through. If you did find this piece of advice helpful and you want to learn exactly how to map out a complete step-by-step cutting plan in order to truly guarantee yourself that final end result, then make sure to take my physique quiz over at quiz.seannall.com, because that'll remove all the guesswork for you and make sure you're on the optimal training and nutrition program for you based on your specific goals, body type, and experience level. You can click up here for that or use the link in the description box below. On the supplementation side of things, you can also visit realscienceathletics.com to check out my science-based, no BS formulas to help fully streamline your results and get the very most out of your fitness plan. The link for that is also in the description. And of course, make sure to hit that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe if you haven't already in order to stay up to date on future videos. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.